Welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast, brought to you by TournamentPokerEdge.com, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to poker tournament strategy. Now here's your host, Clayton Fletcher.
Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. I'm your host, Clayton Fletcher. Going to do something a little bit different this week. I hope you guys will enjoy it. I just returned home recently from the Bahamas, where I participated in the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. Hope you've enjoyed our recent episodes featuring guests that I met up with there, from Jen Shahadi to Matt Stout. Some of you may also know that I performed in a comedy show with the legendary Norm Macdonald and Joe Stapleton and Ben Ludlow. Well, Norm and I ended up playing the next day, but while we were waiting for our game to start, we took a little time to kind of play around a little bit for the podcast. Now, we don't really talk strategy much. We actually talk a little bit more comedy than what you would normally hear on this podcast. But before I get to my pre-recorded interview with the great Norm Macdonald, who is just as funny off stage as he is on stage, I did want to bring you guys some strategy content. As you know, Tournament Poker Edge is the #1 site on earth for tournament poker strategy. It's the only website completely dedicated to multi-table tournament strategy, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I just sent an interview with a comedian for you guys to listen to. So I did want to talk about a hand or two that I played in the PCA. Now, these hands are not from the main event. I wanted to address the fact that I did not play in the main event, even though I had intended to do so. But there were a number of factors that convinced me otherwise. Number one, there were just too many sharks in the waters. As I looked around, even in the satellites to the main event, there was just one recognizable professional player after another, and very few locals participating, no Bahamians at the tables. If you go play in an EPT event in France or Spain, you're going to get some local flavor there, and generally those players will be at a disadvantage compared with the traveling professional players that you will find on the tour, but they're happy to get involved with them anyway for the shot at a big payday. There's no such population in the Bahamas, and I just felt that all of the tournaments there were extremely tough, and that was one reason I decided not to play. But the main reason was I just didn't sleep well the night before I was planning to play, and in my experience, if I don't get enough rest, I don't think clearly, I don't make good decisions, and I may as well just take $10,000 and flush it down the toilet. So I did something that probably many of our listeners would never do, and decided not to play the main event down there. I don't regret my decision, although when I was doing commentary for day 3 of the main event and I saw the prize pools, I did have a little bit of FOMO, but there's just no way I could have made day 3 unless my luck had run so hot as to make up my almost assuredly less than stellar play that would have surely been the case on that day when I only got about 3 or 3.5 hours sleep the night before. So I did end up playing some poker, obviously, and I have a couple of hands from a $1,100 buy-in PCA event. These are both going to be pre-flop decisions that I want to focus on for this, because I feel like so much of tournament poker is tied to how we play before the flop. I'll be very interested if you guys have any thoughts on how I played these hands, whether it's my sizing or whether you think I should have just folded, or anything at all, tweet me at Clayton Comic on Twitter. Always love to hear from you guys, especially love when you do happen to disagree with me. It's nice to hear opposing opinions. We don't want to be in an echo chamber when it comes to poker. The only way to get better is to hear from other people who see things in a different way than we do. So with that in mind, let's look at my first of two hands. And again, coming up, we're going to have my exclusive off-the-cuff interview actually seated at a poker table, believe it or not, at the Atlantis Resort. Norm Macdonald, myself, and also his personal assistant, a really nice guy called John, who was there with us. Before I get to that, here's a hand from the $1,100 tournament. The blinds were 100 and 200 and a 200 big blind ante. We had started with 20,000 chips. I had run my stack up to 27,000 chips, mostly by having good hands and getting paid. My table is a very tough table, very loose aggressive, a lot of experienced, talented, professional players at it. One of them opens from middle position to 500. Again, the blinds are 100, 200 with a 200 ante. So he makes a pretty standard opening bet to 500. And then a player on the button who I think was also a tough pro, 3 bets to 1,500. Now, so there's been a raise and a re-raise in front of me, and I'm in the small blind with about 27,000 chips. So now the players that have made these opening bets, they are not short stacks either. We all have plenty of chips. They're in that 20 to 25K range as well. I have been relatively quiet of late. I won a few big pots early by value betting and getting paid. And now we have the ace of hearts, tray of hearts in the small blind. Obviously, I can fold this hand. There's no reason to play any hand from the small blind after there's been significant heat in front of us. But I decided to put in the cold 4-bet to 4,100. My reasons for doing so are as follows. Number one, I think there's just a good chance, because the first raiser has been so active, that there's a decent chance that he has nothing. With that in mind, the button, who I have pegged as an observant, talented professional player himself, puts in the 3-bet. Now, he doesn't necessarily have to have a premium hand to do that. He might just be trying to capitalize on his position, being on the button, and also just noticing that perhaps the original raiser in this hand has been taking a few liberties thus far. So with all of that in mind, I think it's okay for me to make a play here. Now, when you have a suited ace tray, you're never in terrible shape unless one of my opponents has the unlikely pocket aces. Even if we did happen to get all in, which we won't, but they don't know that. Even if we did, though, I'm never worse off than about 30% against any hand because I have the suited ace tray. Also true of the suited ace 5. Actually, the ace 5 is a little bit higher equity overall, believe it or not. So even if I'm called, I'm not in bad shape. There are a lot of flops that I can continue on. Any type of gut shot, wheel draw, obviously any ace, any flush draw will give me plenty of equity with which to continue representing a big hand, even though I don't actually have one. Also, having the ace of hearts is important because it blocks a lot of my opponent's continuing ranges. Ace king, ace queen, ace ace, obviously much harder for these players to have when I'm holding one of the ace. So I think one of the aces. So I think that having a blocker here is helped me make the play. It makes the play a little bit more attractive. So things go my way this time, and my opponents fold. So it's not often that I put in a cold 4-bet semi-bluff, but this just felt like a spot to do it. I'd love to hear if you guys have any thoughts on that hand and how I played it. And then there's another hand I wanted to discuss from the same tournament at the same table, actually only about maybe 20 or 30 minutes later. The same loose aggressive player who opened the previous pot we discussed now opens, but the blinds have gone up. Sorry, guys, it's 100, 300 now with a 300 ante. And the same original raiser from the previous hand. He's loose aggressive. He likes to get involved, and he knows what he's doing. He makes it 700 with about 25K behind. And the next player on his immediate left, who really hasn't been involved very much at all, may be the tightest player at this table. 3 bets to 2,100 in fourth position. So that's under the gun +2 and under the gun +3. And then folds all the way to me on the button with pocket jacks. And it's a tough spot. I have 30K behind. I have most of the table covered. I have the 2 players involved in this hand covered. I don't really need to build a huge pot here, but I probably have a range advantage over at least one of my opponents. It's a very different hand from the other one because the 3-bet in the previous hand came from the button. This one's coming from late middle position. I guess the low jack, to be exact. It's a 9-handed table. My hand is too strong to fold, I think, but it's not quite strong enough to raise. And I know that our good friend Andrew Brokus says that calling isn't a compromise, but I don't feel that in this case it's a compromise. I think it's just the best play. I think raising is kind of a disaster, actually, in this spot, because if they flat, they can do that with a lot of hands that beat me. Well, maybe not a lot of hands that beat me, but at least one. Pocket queens should certainly flat if I 4-bet again. And also, many players would flat with aces or kings at least some of the time in an effort to trap me, because now this will be the second 4-bet that I put in. So for all those reasons, and just by virtue of the fact that I can play my hand in position and I have pocket jacks, I just decide to call. At that time, the small blind folds, and the big blind, who has been running bad and maybe not the most talented player at the table, maybe taking some of his medium strength hands a little too far early, shoves for 13,400. So now everybody folds to me, which lets me know as tight as I thought they might be. I need to decide what to do. There's 19,000 in the pot, and it would cost me 11,300 to call. So I'm getting about 1.8 to 1 against a player that hasn't exactly been loose aggressive, but he's definitely been playing a little, if anything, too passively and too loosely at this table. We've got to decide what to do with our jacks here. Getting 1.8 to 1 with the 4th best possible starting hand. I didn't like it, but I had to call. I decided to call. I guess I could have folded. The reason I chose to call is because my opponent should certainly be doing this with ace-king. Might be correct to do this with ace-queen. Should technically do this sometimes as a bluff, although I didn't feel like he had many bluffs in his range. And he could maybe even do it with a worse pair like pocket tens. My hand is just a little too strong to fold. So I called, hoping to see ace-king. And I actually did see ace-king. I ended up losing this pot, but that's not really the point of the hand. It's just, these pre-flop decisions, especially at tables that take a lot of liberties with, playing fast and loose lines, kind of your hand strength goes up overall. Jacks is much better at this table in this situation than it would be at a more conservative table. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting spot. I thought these were two interesting pre-flop decisions. I'd love to hear whether you guys agree with my cold four with the ace tray of hearts, or is that just fancy play syndrome that happened to work out? And do you agree with my flat and then call of the shove with pocket jacks? So again, tweet me at Clayton Comic. Let me know what you think of these two hands. And now, without further ado, I want to share with you a conversation I had at a poker table in the Bahamas with the great Norm Macdonald. Clayton Fletcher here at the Poker Stars Caribbean Adventure. Norm, do you say Caribbean or Caribbean?
Ask John if he's ever seen Faulty Towers.
John, are you familiar with Faulty Towers? Do you know what that is?
I've seen every episode.
Okay,
Would you be surprised that he's never heard of Faulty Towers?
Not surprised at all.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of Americans don't know it, right?
We don't watch British television.
Yeah, we don't watch
But he's
British
a
television.
Even with that.
Yeah. To me, British
yeah.
comedy is like guys in dresses, right? Isn't that mostly what it is?
Except Monty Python. Though. You don't know Monty Python.
Yeah, Monty
It's a little
Python's
weird.
British people yelling at each other.
No.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right? That's what it is, right?
No. Are you joking?
Yeah, I'm joking.
You're
It's a
But
little
you
more.
did say that you're not super into
I'm not
Monty
super
Python.
into Monty Python.
But I will say also on your behalf, or on the behalf of the anti-Python,
yeah.
I went to show my kids, so I got it was 100 episodes, and they're almost all horrible because there's
Yeah.
5 great
There's
sketches.
5 great ones, and
everyone
that's
remembers them. Yeah.
Like I saw Spam-A-Lot on Broadway. I got the shorthand, Yeah, that's like the 5 best sketches.
But I went to Spam-A-Lot, and I was so excited, and when I got there, I'm like, it's not. I knew it wasn't Monty Python,
But it's never
the
gonna
real
be.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
But then I realized, oh my God, it's just like the guys in high school that did Monty Python bits all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well,
like-
they got to do everything has to be a musical now. Like I saw Footloose, the musical.
Oh,
right?
yeah?
Yeah, they didn't have Kevin Bacon either. It was
But it
weird.
feels like that should be a musical, right?
There's music in it.
It feels like that.
The soundtrack
would
was
be a
better than
musical.
the script.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So Norm, are you? We did
I got a script from Morty, who was Letterman's guy. Remember
Yeah.
Morty from the old days? And he gave me a script. You remember that book that Bombastic Bushkin wrote about Carson?
Yes.
His lawyer?
Yeah.
His lawyer also wrote a musical Broadway based on the book called Carson.
Carson the musical.
Yeah, and there's
With an exclamation point or no
so
exclamation?
funny, and there's a song. It's like, it's all for you. It starts with him going, "It's all for you, mother." It's about him and his mother, and he never got her approval. So it starts with a guy doing Johnny Carson singing, which would be so ridiculous anyway.
Do you at least do the golf swing? Because
You should just do it as Art Fern the whole time, like throughout the whole thing.
Oh my God! So we're waiting to play poker, and here in the Caribbean, things don't happen on your time, do they?
No, that's right. It's island time.
Island
Who
time.
called that? Who called it island time?
Everybody calls it island time,
Island
even the
time.
people who live here. So there's nothing
Helmut brought it
insensitive
up
about
last
saying
night.
that.
When I was a
Yeah.
kid, I lived in the Caribbean.
You did?
Yeah. My girlfriend's parents owned a boat. Like, they weren't rich, but he sold his Volvo dealership, retired, got a boat in the Caribbean.
Cayman Islands, or
No, St. Thomas,
Yeah.
the American Virgin Islands, in Charlotte and Amali. So I was going out with the daughter. They didn't like me at all.
right?
They
Why
wanted-
would they?
They wanted to break us up. So their plan was get her to the boat. And they gave me a job with her. And I didn't know anything about anything. And it worked. They got rid of me. But it was incredible. Because it was island time. We didn't even have, I think we had Monday Night Football a week late or something. This was like
Right,
25
yeah.
years ago.
Could you bet the game?
No, you're so...
A week after it happened.
You wouldn't know what day it was. And
Yeah.
plus, you'd always be drunk because you're swimming, so you're in shape.
Yeah.
You're tanned.
And then
And when they wake up, you drink like a rum punch.
rum
or
runners,
punch,
yeah, Bahama Mamas,
So you're,
right?
Right,
Sunshine
exactly.
doesn't help.
Yeah.
And so you don't really have to do anything important, so it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
And you feel healthy, but you're really just drunk and tanned.
Which is what's happening in LA too, right? I mean, everybody's drunk. They're flaking out on the
Yes,
beach. They're
yes.
late for everything. So you should be used to
Like
island
John.
time. Yeah. John.
John lives on island time.
I definitely
Norm's
have.
assistant, John.
Margaritaville.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Margaritaville.
Yeah, he's been wasting away, right? Yeah. So we're waiting to play poker. They're
Yeah.
not really helping us get it started.
Yes, this is live. We came here thinking we were big shots, and we've
Yeah.
been crushed ever since.
I was like, you're
Last
Norm
night-
Macdonald. As soon as you walk in.
Last night we were abused by dealers.
Yeah.
And then,
I was punched.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Clayton was punched.
Female
lost
dealer
money.
punched me. Yeah.
Oh my God! It used to be so much more. At most casinos, they make it fun to lose.
Yeah.
But here they made it not fun.
Yeah. So we did a little comedy show here at the Poker Stars Caribbean
That's right.
Adventure.
So fun.
It was awesome. Joe Stapleton.
And we were both nervous. We didn't know it, but each of us was nervous because then that's
You
how
seemed
everyone
so
sees
calm. I didn't want you to see me like I'm your feature. I didn't want you to think that I was worried because you didn't seem worried.
I was worried. No, I was just.
I was
Because
terrified.
the way they first see you, you know.
Yeah.
If we didn't do good then, it's not like they'd see us. They wouldn't even see us
Right,
again.
they're gonna make
but if
one
they did
impression.
See us, they go, oh, yeah, but he was bad.
Not a first impression, probably the only impression. So
Yeah, there wouldn't be a second.
yeah, they're not going to come again. So the whole audience last night was poker players, so it was a different crowd than normal. Like for one thing, it was 90% men, which was a
that's
problem
true.
for me. I
I didn't
feel like
think
my
of that.
comedy
I
is
didn't think of
more
that.
geared towards women.
I didn't think
you
of
know,
that. No women.
So I was concerned about that. There were some women in the audience, but it was mostly a sausage fest in the
And
truest
the
sense of the word.
first, when Joe was up, in the first minute, a guy goes, "You suck." Which
Yeah,
was
it's a good
that-
start.
Right
Yeah,
off
it's
That
a
was
good
a
start.
scary moment because
Yeah.
that's like, oh, is this all
Yeah.
night? Is this what's going to be?
Yeah,
But
but no,
was
that
drunk. It was a drunk.
But I learned something
Very
from that,
drunk
Norm, because I don't know if you heard what Joe
I don't
said.
know what happened though.
Joe was up there and he's like,
Joe was just being honest.
Joe was like, hey guys, we got a great show. Joe Stapleton, really, really
He
funny.
was very
comedian.
nice about it.
He said, look, everybody, we got a great show. We got 4 comedians. 2 of them suck. And he was making a joke
Yeah.
that 2 of the
Oh, I
4
didn't think
comedians
about
suck.
that.
And then like 2
You
minutes
know what
later,
I
this guy
told
goes,
him?
you
That's a
suck.
bad joke.
That's why he did it.
That's why I
Yeah.
said
He
it.
fucked up. I told
We
him
told him
to
earlier
do
the
this.
guy
I told
announced.
no. When he was interviewing me that time, I said, "Here." He said, "What? Do you got any jokes for me?" So I go, "I think it'd be funny if like you go up after someone did their set and go, is it just me or did that guy
That
suck?"
guy sucks. So he probably had that idea in his head.
Yeah, you can't just say.
You can't just say 2 of the guys are going
I
to
was
suck.
telling
You
him,
got burned by an MC once.
I was telling him, I said, he shouldn't be saying he's not a real comic either.
Yeah.
I don't know why he kept doing that.
He's very self-deprecating. He's very
I know, but
insecure
you can't-
about.
You can't
like,
say you're not a real comic.
yeah, you can't tell the
because then they'll
audience,
go,
I'm bad at this.
Oh, I won't laugh because he's not even supposed to be a comic.
There's a lot of psychology to doing stand-up, right? Like part of it is like salesmanship, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Like, do you know who Barry Sobel is?
Yeah, I know Barry Sobel.
So he opens for me sometimes, so he goes on stage, he came with me to San Diego, and then he goes on stage, he goes, Norm, phone me up. He says, come on over, do a set. Watch me do a set, then I get here. He says, do a set. I go, all right, I'll do a set. I'm like, wait, what? You're getting paid and stuff? And then,
Do a set.
so they expect less. They're happier. He's doing charity for me. And then if he bombs, he goes, that joke, I bought a house on that joke. And I'm like, I don't think
no, yeah.
didn't really buy a house.
Yeah. That's like the opposite of self-deprecating. That's like self-aggrandizing
Right,
you.
right.
Yeah.
Belittling the audience's knowledge.
It's
and
like,
humor.
oh, you don't know anything. I bought a house with that
Right,
joke.
exactly.
You idiots. Yeah, so we did have a heckler, a drunk poker player heckler.
You knew who it was? Did you
No,
find
but
out?
I found
Somebody
out
told
after the fact that it was just some guy from, he's here for the poker tournament.
Sure. Well,
Actually, the whole audience
There
was...
could have been bad because a lot of them had just been busted out because it was before, or was it at the end of the night?
At the end of the night,
Oh.
there's a $25,000 buy-in here with a $6 million first place prize going on here in the Caribbean. It was we're in. Actually, it's not in. Actually,
Well, I bet now that I think about it, probably most of the players were still in it then. So it was probably, and they'd be a really good audience, obviously.
yeah, but the guys who were there early last night had already busted because they
And they
didn't
had to
actually.
wait for
and they were waiting for
So
us
your
to
audience
start.
was literally the field of losers.
And they had
No,
to.
they had to wait for
bunch
the-
of losers.
They had to wait for the winners.
And they're
to
getting
show up.
drunk to kind of get over the
Right.
pain
and they
of
were at
losing.
the front too.
Yeah.
And then you hit them. We hit them in the island time by starting the show.
Yeah,
30
and then we
minutes
started.
early.
We started late. So
to complete the
some
experience.
factors were working against us.
That's
Norm.
right. Well,
and yeah,
that
it went
was
well.
scary when I first heard that.
You
heckle.
suck. Yeah,
First
wow.
heard that heckle, yeah, because it's one of those heckles too that's hard to answer. It's just,
Yeah.
and you go, oh, if he's this drunk now, like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, so there's about maybe 500 people there, 400 or 500 people there, and most of them were just really excited to see you.
Now
And-
that John said that thing about the guy was answering his joke. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
I mean, well, he
different.
didn't answer right away though. It was like I think Joe had planted that seed when he said 2 of the 4 comics
trying to think
suck,
of how to say it.
and then he's like later on he's like you suck. So I mean, he was trying to say like you're one of the
5
2.
minutes later, yeah.
Yeah, it was later. Yeah, it wasn't right
He
away.
figured it out.
But, and I didn't think of that actually until later because I'm like, why would that
I
guy
never
just yell
thought
that
of
out
that.
randomly? But then I
Right.
remembered that Joe had actually
That
kind of,
makes sense, yeah.
goofed off. So that's kind of a lesson, right? If you're an MC, you don't want to start off the show by telling people it's not going to be a good show.
Or don't say you're not a comic.
He'll be
right?
way better next.
Like
That was his first
like
time
in
ever.
LA, they go the other way, but they go like, you go, oh, you're a waiter, you're going to be an actor. I am an actor.
Yeah, they go the other way. Yeah.
Which is probably better.
Yeah, it's better, but bring my appetizers. Act like you're not.
Drive this fucking Uber already. I want to hear your mixtape.
That's
my
what I
God.
told I was talking to Jerry Seinfeld, and I said, I think a person is just whatever the person does.
Yeah,
He said he thinks the exact opposite.
yeah,
He says you're what you it comes from your imagination. I go, yeah, but if you don't do it, I go, if you're
yeah.
just a guy sitting on a chair thinking up like creative things.
Yeah, you're not a writer until you
Yeah.
write something.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you disagree. He
Yeah.
said, even if you're just sitting on a chair.
Yeah. Well,
Because he
you
said all the writing's up there, that's true. Like it's just thinking. It's
Yeah.
not really right,
but you disagree with Seinfeld a lot. Like you don't even watch his show. You told me you've only
No,
seen a few
you
episodes.
fucker. I love Seinfeld.
So
No,
what do you
I
have?
told
What do you have?
Seinfeld that.
What do you have
because
against Jewish
I think I have an
people?
OCD. I think maybe it's OCD. I remember I used to go to in a movie, try to find a comedy movie. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's almost all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
So I would go to the box. What was it called? Home Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
And I would look at every kind. I have to look at every one
Yeah.
because I go, maybe there'll be another one.
If there's one with a dog, right, you're not going to watch that one,
No.
right? The
Almost
one-
most comedies. I mean, how many great comedies compared to drama movies?
Yeah.
Like a dramatic movie, you could,
Well, I remember when
Make a
comedy
success.
movies used to make me laugh a lot. Like I'm talking old school, like Airplane.
Oh,
I think is
God
brilliant.
damn, that was funny.
Yeah, but like in the
Super
last
laughs,
20
yeah.
years, like a lot of the movies where people are like, oh, that movie's hilarious, and I'll watch it. There'll be like 5 laughs in the whole 2 hours, and I just
Right.
can't. But I think the standard
That's true,
of
that-
Hollywood comedy movies
Fuck
has
that
gotten very
Airplane.
low.
It's just movie jokes every.
It's joke
minute.
every It's like
that's
it's
what
like
it
a,
should be.
it's like stand up or I mean I don't know. What do you think of Sacha Baron Cohen?
Well, I mean, his Borat was one of the Borat, right?
Yeah, Borat. Yeah.
That movie was one of the funniest things.
I've
ever
never
seen.
laughed harder at a movie than I did.
And
that.
I tell you, I think that at the end of the movie, when he gets Pamela Anderson,
yeah.
right? I think she didn't know because I've
Absolutely,
watched
she
it many
didn't
times.
know.
Oh,
She
okay.
definitely didn't know.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, so
she
he
had
just
no
did
idea.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought later she was trying to pretend she acted in it, and she was. Because it was, I said, if she's acting, this is the best acting I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because she was terrified.
Yeah. No,
Did you see the movie?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say
Never threw it in a
absolutely.
bag.
'cause,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of course, no one knows. It's Hollywood
What did
magic.
you think? Did you think she's in on the joke?
I think she might have been. That one was hard.
I don't
It
know.
could've
I don't
gone
think she's a
either
good
way.
enough actress. She
Yeah,
was
I mean,
so like.
Obviously, John's never seen VIP. He watched Faulty Towers, but he never checked out VIP. He thinks Pamela Anderson
Wait, who was the
deserves
other
an
girl?
Oscar.
I think I met the other girl in VIP. The other girl was the plain girl, but
Right.
she also had huge tits
Yeah,
and a beautiful
yeah,
body. but
that was
not
part
as
of
much her.
the yeah.
Next to Pamela Anderson, every
Yeah.
woman looks like a dude.
Yeah. So speaking of Pamela Anderson, have you been to the beach here in the Bahamas at all?
He has.
Yeah.
Have you been?
No. I went for a little walk on the beach this morning. It's kind of nice.
That's
in
what's funny.
January.
That was all funny about the. It's still on, I guess, but the World Poker Tour, which made poker really popular. It was on the Travel Channel, but it
Yeah.
had nothing to do with travel, you know.
Yeah.
And their other show was about real travel, and then it was just these guys in a room.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter
15
where the
years
room
ago,
was.
the most popular show on the Travel Channel was by far World Poker Tour. I don't know how they ended
They
up
cut
getting
to Shauna Hyatt, and then she'd be like, "I'm out on the beach,
Yeah.
back to the room."
Man, Shauna Hyatt got me through puberty. Wow.
I
Yeah,
met
she
her
was
about 3
fine
months
looking
ago,
woman.
and oh, she was the most beautiful.
Hawaiian
I said,
tropic model.
Every comic must have been falling in love with that girl, you know.
Every poker player.
But she was, I forgot, you know, she was going out with the guy, the host.
What, Vince Van Patten?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Really?
She was married to Vince Van Patten's brother. That's
Okay. That's not better.
what- Yeah. And then now she goes with this studio guy.
Nice.
But
Nice.
she was beautiful, yeah.
This is Hollywood
weird,
Gossip with Norm Macdonald. Hope you guys are enjoying.
I fell in love with her too, and I thought she was so sweet and innocent. And
Yeah.
now she's with kind of a player. So
Yeah. It ruins people.
Yeah, it's sort of.
It's the city of angels, but they all turn into devils, Norm. So you're going back to Vegas
Very
after
funny
this? What's
yesterday.
happening?
Yeah, it's so bizarre going from here to Vegas to another gambling place.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How much of your life do you spend around poker and gambling, and how much of it do you spend in like normal society?
Well, I was always there was a period of time where I was almost always playing poker, but that was the internet. So I get up in the morning and play fucking all
Stay in your pajamas all day.
tables, all kinds of
Order
tables.
Chinese food.
Yeah, but it was great. I mean, it was fucking so much fun, and I had like 16. I couldn't do 1,000, but do 16, 50 cent. What was it? For maybe 5 cent, 10 cent even.
And you just keep
50
all
cent
these.
a dollar. I'm sorry, 50 cent a dollar.
So you're playing 16 games of poker at the same time.
But limit hold'em.
Yeah.
So you can just look up, ding, oh, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just ABC. You don't have to make any plays. It's limit. But you play a whole bunch, and and the idea is that a lot of people have never played poker in their life, which
Yeah.
was true at that time.
Right.
Now everyone's good at poker.
Right.
you know?
Now this show last night was for the poker players, but the show you do in Vegas, it's for the general
Yeah,
public.
it's
but they're mostly gamblers, right? Because they're at
Well,
they're at a
because of
casino.
South Point, because it's at South Point.
Yeah.
So it's locals, yeah.
South
So-
Point Casino, it's mostly locals there. It's on the Strip, but it's all
No,
the way.
it's not on the Strip. No, it's in.
It's on Las Vegas Boulevard.
No,
but it's
no.
all
South
the way
Point's
down.
in Henderson.
Is that technically Henderson?
Oh, it's a long one.
Oh,
You know
okay.
where it is. Right?
Yeah, it's fine.
You not go?
No, we came and saw you there. Stapes and I did, but I thought it was still technically.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
No.
it's pretty far down.
It's far away.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I like it. You know what's funny? I stayed at the Orleans one. I played the Orleans once.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 blocks off the Strip, kind of.
Yeah.
The rooms are not that great and everything. And the people are. The people are kind of a little white trashy, right? But weirdly, I don't think they know enough. I don't think they know. They can just go to the Bellagio.
It's
like,
right
they
there.
Can just walk.
It's like right there.
Yeah, I think they go like, no, they won't let us in. Marge.
We can't get in there. We don't have a card. We don't have a platinum VIP card.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they just stay there, you know. They
Yeah.
stay where they're told.
Yeah.
Or they think they're told. to
Yeah.
go.
So Norm, you and I have a lot in common. We're both interested in poker and comedy.
Yeah.
And we actually became, better friends when I was having my little World Series run this summer.
He got super far into the main event.
Yeah, I got 28th place in.
Which was insane.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, I had a lot of good luck, obviously, along the way, but it was fun.
Did you know, was it tracked like minute by, like, do you know when you were highest?
Yeah.
What was your highest?
At one point, I was in second place with, I think, 50 players left.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. But I actually did even better. I didn't finish better, but I actually had a bigger stack 3 years ago when I got 96th place.
Wow.
I was chip leader for a long time in that tournament, and then I basically lost 2 hands in a row with pocket kings against one time against pocket queens, and then the very next hand against pocket aces. And I went from first
2 in a row?
to out in 96th place. Yeah, 2 hands in a row. Kind of
That's how you
legendary.
lost, you mean?
That's how I lost my stack, yeah.
How about that?
You went from chip leader thinking you're
Kings
going to be
against
the
queens.
world champion.
Then kings against aces. So if the kings against queens had won, the kings against aces, you would have had enough money.
Yeah, the other guy would have been busted. Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of sick. But that's
it was the
fun.
same guy. Both
Same
times?
guy. The same guy. So it's back-to-back
The same
hands against the
guy.
same
The aces
player.
wouldn't even have happened.
It wouldn't have happened. He would have been gone. Yeah. So, but that's poker, and
Yeah, no, that's poker.
there's the woulda, coulda, shoulda element to poker,
But,
right? Where
But when you were running last year, though, so here's what I wonder, because to get that far, you have to sort of hit. You have to be real good, but at the same time, lucky also.
Yeah.
So then, do you start feeling invincible, or do you have to watch that, or?
Yeah, I
You go
never.
like, fuck it, I'll get lucky
No.
if I'm behind. Like,
No, I never let myself get too high or too low. which I am a huge baseball fan. I watch the Orioles all the time.
I noticed that about you. Yeah,
Got to stay. Yeah, if you're up, if you got a chip lead, you got to be like, all right. Well, I know this can go any second. And if you're short stack, look at John Sin when he was at my table on day 5. He basically had the shortest stack at the table and just got it in a coin flip and won, or whatever.
Cool.
It's you can't be too worried when you're short, and you also can't be too proud of yourself when you're hot, because right. And to me, that's the same in comedy. You can be big 1 minute and then not the next. So, I mean, do you just avoid bloggers now at this point? Because a lot of comedians, like, you get on top, like, you're real famous and stuff. Do you worry that they're just going to ask you a question to try to trap you? Like,
you mean bloggers?
Or like people that are doing interviews, like,
oh God,
yeah.
Because it's all that stuff, it's all that political stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's like they want to get you.
Yeah, they want,
to put themselves on the map.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I can't. I'm not like here's the problem too. I'm not a political comic, but I did update.
Right.
I read the headlines. Sometimes I forgot a joke. But
I thought you had a background in journalism.
I don't know anything about
Aren't you a newsman? I thought you.
But people sometimes think I should. So they'll ask me questions, but then they ask you questions about. And I always hate when you hear a comic talking seriously. So I always try to be fun. But then, if you're funny, especially in print, you can't try. You got to be real clear.
Yeah,
they're going to print those words.
Yeah. And so much
guys in newspaper articles, not slamming or anything, but not even fixing my grammar. They go, it'll be fun to be here in Austin.
Yeah, they put or kinda or like I when I get nervous I say kinda.
Yeah.
You can take out the kinda. It doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they're just lazy and they just Google Translate the phone call. Or...
Yeah. But I used to also with new media, people don't like my managers and they don't know anything. So sometimes I'm doing a gig in Calgary. They go, "Oh, you got to do press. Phone this person." I phone. They go, "Is this Norm?" Yeah. It's like two students in their basement or something. They phone my manager. So they got a podcast. They go, "This is really you."
It's really you.
Oh, is anyone listening?
Yeah. No, it's someone doing an impression of me. It's a really good impression. Yeah.
But I feel like nobody in Hollywood knows anything about new media or anything. But if you go to pitch a show or something, you got to go they'll go what about Facebook? And you're like, oh yeah, that'll be involved.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Once you mention social media, it's like, that makes it good.
None of us know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, why doesn't a guy show up that's the king of new media and just hire comedians?
Yeah.
For that matter, actors or anything, and just go
Well, to me, that was where you came from when we saw you at the South Point, where you have, would you call it a residency? You do shows there regularly.
No, not a residency.
What do you call it? You're there all the time.
I do it twice a year, which is cool.
For how long?
Bizarre, because they do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They do one show a night. Friday, one show Friday, one show Saturday, one show Sunday, and then on the second show they have these dance guys. That they're big,
What dance guy?
Well, they dance to you saw it, right?
No, I haven't been to you. Thunder from Down Under? What are you talking?
They dance to and they have videos behind them. Dance, you can dance if you want to, and they act like they wear a mop on their head. I don't know what's going on,
cover band?
But I think it's like a rave thing though.
Okay,
it gets people that always go to these things and they get stoned and
right. Right.
So they don't. So they can never have two shows in a night.
So it's like they gotta get you out of there in time for these mop head dancers.
They're much more popular mop head dancers.
So you got to go early, Norm. We got the mop head.
But I have been trying to get a residency. I go. My thought process has always been get me a residency at a hotel where I'm more famous than the hotel, and for some reason they can't do it.
Yeah, that's
But I hear people don't make money in Vegas. The only guy is Carrot Top because he does a show.
He has a show.
With pyrotechnics. But what's his name? George Wallace, who I think is the most popular. He has trouble. You have to promote it all and sell it all yourself. So you got to be a businessman.
Yeah. Is that not something you enjoy?
I don't think I could do it. I'm not I couldn't hire a bartender and so I don't know about that. How to do that.
Well, I mean, John could definitely be a business partner for you.
Singing in your bartender.
Yeah.
Break out in song halfway
And
through.
then who knows? Like they go, what about the unions? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I make nothing. I have a feeling something like that would happen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I always do clubs instead of theaters, because when you do a theater, people go, oh, you make a lot of money, but you don't. You don't make money.
Right.
Because you have to pay a guy who pulls the rope, and an old man's over here checking the mic, and then so everybody gets money, and then you get a piece of it after, right? But
but by the time you tip out
if you did 5 shows at a club, you'd make more money.
Right.
You'd just be there longer, but I'd rather be there longer.
Right.
I don't want to be there for a night and race off somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, tell us what's going on with what are you promoting these days? Are you doing the Netflix thing? What's going on?
oh, Netflix, I don't know. They don't tell you. They don't tell you.
They leave you
ratings?
hanging. They don't tell you anything, right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And so, but they haven't canceled us.
Yeah, well, that's good because I
That's
heard
good.
Sarah Silverman just got canceled. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
She had her show on Hulu, I Love You America, and they
She
announced.
made a lot of money.
Yeah, she did. She made good money.
275,000 an episode.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah, and she did a lot of toilet humor too. So good for her.
That's funny though, because I thought she kind of got Hulu on the. Well, Hulu was already famous, but
Yeah.
it was Hulu, right?
Yeah, Hulu. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it was for sure their only popular show. It's funny that they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened, but like you say, they don't really share like the traditional networks would have Nielsen ratings.
Yeah.
They would share like how many people are watching. Netflix and Hulu and other similar outlets are very secretive about how many people are watching.
But
you don't
I do
know.
feel that the Sarah Silverman show was a famous show.
It was
though.
a very famous
Yeah,
show, and she's
so-
a very famous comedian.
And they don't have anything
Yeah.
else. So that,
Yeah, I think she's underrated, by the way.
yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, I think maybe her political stuff kind of makes people not think of her as much as a comic.
Oh, that's true.
You
Yeah,
know, she got so involved in vote for Bernie. Oh wait, don't vote for Hillary. It's kind of like that's all. Everybody that was going to vote for Bernie, you got to vote for Hillary. And people don't want that from.
Well, it's
comedians.
like it's like Leno, the most practical guy of all
just keep
time.
it in the middle.
He's just like, why? He sees everything. Just like it's like, why are you losing out the audience? It's just so obvious when he's
pretty good Leno, by the way. Not bad. He sounded just like him, didn't he?
But all his stuff is just the most practical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he never did a stand-up special
He never did one.
because he had his jokes amortized, like
Right.
And so I go like, man, $350,000 for that joke so far. Like he had it all figured out because he did the exact same, but it was a powerhouse hour. But fucking just. And then, like I heard him on Rogan, he just like flat out says the same act. He doesn't pretend. And Rogan was saying like, oh yeah, but like I was talking to Ari Shafir.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird, like comparing Leno with that.
Yeah.
And he's like, Ari said, like as an artist, you got to do all kinds of, keep growing as an artist. And then Leno's like, yeah, but but the thing is, you gotta like I can go to any place and kill,
Yeah, because I don't have to ever, and it's evergreen, so it's not political,
completely
it's
evergreen,
not current events, it's got it, ready to go.
Did you see him when he was really good?
Yeah, I saw him, I think in Vegas.
Destroyed.
Yeah, he was a really strong act.
Because he also walked and picked.
Oh yeah, he did the whole thing.
Like Seinfeld kind of just stand there, but he
Yeah,
had all this charisma too. And
yeah. I stand still a lot. Like we're in the big theater
too,
last
I
night,
do.
and I feel like I can't.
I tried it. You ever tried walking?
It's
around?
weird. It feels weird. Like where am I going? Why am I walking around?
Because I guess I didn't start that way, but there's a skill to it. So I would just walk to the edge of the stage. If it was a theater, I felt I had to walk.
You
the
had
mask was
to,
so
yeah.
big. I walked to the edge of the stage, but it'd be right in the middle of the joke.
Yeah, so now I'm over
You have
here.
to turn because they have it choreographed out. Like it looks like they're just pacing like Chris Rock, but no, he has it figured out.
He's got it, and he knows when to stop and deliver the punchline.
Yeah.
He's never. You notice somebody like Chris Rock who moves around a lot. He always stands still when he says the funny
Right,
part.
that's very true.
Yeah, you got to.
But
There's a timing.
Because he started out in New York, and nobody paced around.
No,
I
because
guess
the
a
stages
towel
are too
kinda
small.
would- A towel would kind of.
Most of the stages in New
They're
York
so
are tiny.
small, yeah.
It's like a pizza box.
Yeah.
Where are you going to walk to?
Right, exactly. So that's a good point. I always saw Rock just standing.
Yeah, but once they give him a stage, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go over here now. I'll go walk over there now."
You remember Andrew Dice Clay when that was one of his he'd come up with new catchphrases. But one of them was, "I'm over here now." That didn't even make sense. But it was wherever he was on the stage. And then he called his special that. "I'm over here now." And then I saw him in a Rodney special. A Rodney movie.
Yeah.
Those late Rodney movies.
Yeah.
Because one time I went to Rodney, I was on SNL, I go, "You're a big hero, Rodney." And the next day they called me, they go, "Rodney wants you to be in his movie." For nothing. It starts tomorrow. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." But anyways, I saw one and it was like, Harry Basil and him wrote it in 2 days or whatever, and they made it. But Dice was a big part in it. He was a mafia head.
Oh, for sure.
But in it, he would go, "I'm over here now." He was using his...
Treat me like the pig that I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There'll never be another Dice.
No.
That's over, right? You
I
can't
remember
do that
when I first... Well, I don't know if there won't be. I think maybe time is ripe for somebody like that with all the...
To push back, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Brennan is trying. Like, he's a pretty edgy
Is it?
comic. Yeah, he's been, trying to say the things nobody else wants to say.
Good.
And, screw anybody that's trying to be politically correct. This is how I feel.
Good.
It's kind of nice to have,
No,
different
it's very
voices.
good.
But, audiences, they seem to want more corrected. Well, I think audiences kind of want us to find where the line is and almost cross it. But if we do cross it, they turn on us. Do you feel that's right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I try to play with where is that line, and it's different for every audience, right?
Yeah. And,
But what's your wacky
I don't know.
catchphrase? You got to have a wacky. I'm over here now.
No, this guy was opening for me. I told him to say, "I'm all mixed up after everything."
Yeah, I'm all mixed up. That's good. Yeah. What's up with that?
Or the world's all mixed up or something. Or am I all mixed up or is it the world? I don't know.
I like Sebastian Maniscalco. He's got a catchphrase. He says, "Aren't you embarrassed?"
Yeah.
So he'll talk about people who wear pajamas to the grocery store. He's like, "Aren't you embarrassed?"
He's good.
That's
Yeah, he's a
great
terrific
catchphrase.
comic. I got to
That's a
work with
great
him in New
catchphrase.
Jersey.
Oh, no,
Really
that's
funny
what, remember Jeremy said that you went to the, Jeremy said that John,
Jeremy's so full of shit.
Jeremy said that John,
Who's Jeremy?
Jeremy is a PA on the show.
Writer's assistant.
Yeah.
So I had a show and Jeremy was a PA, John was a PA, another guy, Gary, was a PA. Anyways, they all went to the comedy club and Sebastian Maniscalco came on. And Jeremy said that John, who was just sitting in the front row, after every joke would go, "Solid joke."
Solid joke. But not laugh at it. Just say,
Yeah.
solid joke. Yeah.
Sebastian was very funny.
Yeah, no, he's terrific. Yeah, and a really nice guy, too.
No, but it is insulting to the comic.
Yeah. To sit there with your arms crossed and say solid joke. So if you're listening and you go to a comedy show, don't be like John. Well, we had fun last night after the show.
Crazy.
Maybe the most famous poker player in the world, Phil Hellmuth, wanted to hang out with us.
Talking to Phil Hellmuth was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. He's a piece of work, isn't he?
He seems like fascinated with everything, like he was fascinated in comedy because he was with comedians last night.
Yeah.
And he says he goes with Elon Musk, Tiger Woods. I think he's just fascinated with everybody, every different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those guys, I mean, poker players are pretty curious people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You have to be. I
Like,
think
if
they
you're
made a
at
really good
poker table,
audience.
People will say real, like, knowledgeable shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but
Well, that's what I was most worried about last night. Is I mean, this audience is going to be smarter than I am.
Oh, yeah.
I was very
I guess,
concerned.
isn't a lot of it spare time?
Yeah, I guess
you
so.
can- you can
You can
watch
open your
YouTube,
mind because you're not chained to a desk all day.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can watch a lot of YouTube things.
Yeah.
Documentaries on
Yeah.
stuff.
I get the feeling you watch a lot of YouTube yourself.
I watch a lot of YouTube documentaries, but never on. Like I always go. I should look at the 6-Day War and just know everything about that or something.
Right.
Nuclear,
Yeah.
you know.
You end up watching squirrels mating.
Sounds like a Carson punchline. or something.
It did. I wanted a drummer behind me. We didn't have one here in the
Now,
poker
so
room.
We're looking at a table with a lot of cameras around. Is that a final table?
Yeah, that's going to be the featured table of the Players Championship, which is a $25,000
main
buy-in
event.
tournament. Yeah, it's
What-
one of the key
Poker Stars
events.
main event's done. Am I right about that or
No, that starts the day after you leave. So good
No,
timing.
no, I was in that one.
No, that's not the main event. It's the Players Championship. Yeah, the main event's a $10,000 buy-in. tournament
But
that
that's
starts.
not Poker Stars, though.
That's Poker
Oh,
Stars
that-
too.
Oh, it's all Poker
All of this stuff
Okay,
is
I'm
Poker
sorry.
Stars.
So, but the one that we were in, though.
Yeah. That's the same tournament that you were in.
Oh, that's still going.
yeah, and that's like
So what day is this?
day 4. Yeah, so these
there's
guys are
5
almost
days.
at the final table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when they are,
Dang,
Joe
I'll
Stapleton will
miss-
be free,
I'll
and we
miss-
can hang
I'll
out with
miss
him.
the final table.
Yeah, but you can watch it on the internet. Don't worry, you can find it on YouTube if you stop looking at the squirrel videos.
I'll go and look. I hope I don't look at someone that
That you played against?
Yes, that's.
You don't
what
want them to
I
win.
I hate that.
You don't want to
so
see the guy that beat you win the damn thing, right?
much. But then sometimes it's funny because they have chips, and you go like, use my chips wisely. But meanwhile, that's only 2 now if they're chips.
Yeah.
If they're
Yeah.
They have 5,000 chips, and one of them was yours.
Yeah, right. And you're
You're
like, that's
starving.
mine. That's mine, you
What was
bastard.
your entry fee?
Now, when I wanted to ask you about something you said before we started recording, when you were saying, because you look really young, and Phil Hellmuth looks really young. What do you think it is about being a poker player or a comedian that keeps us young?
Oh, right. Well, when you're young, you just want to make jokes and play games, and then you grow up and you go, I can't do that anymore.
Got to be responsible. Yeah.
So I think the comics, they just keep making jokes, making each other laugh, because that's what kids do to each other with each other.
Yeah.
And then the poker players play cards. So that's probably why there's a crossover too, because it's just
Yeah.
kind of don't want to grow up, do the things you did when you were a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm jealous of those people that play video games on esports. You know?
Yeah.
Because I was great at video games, but like Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. You're not going to make money on Pac-Man.
There's nothing to that.
Yeah, I was killer at asteroids,
Yeah, I
man.
was
Nobody could beat me at asteroids.
So today I figure I'd be like one of those guys. 'cause I was
you
obsessed.
would. Yeah.
It'd be so
you were
fun.
born in the wrong year, Norm.
Yeah. But there's one thing I don't understand as entertainment. Esports. I don't get it.
Yeah, people like to watch other people play video games.
Yeah, that's
weird.
beyond me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just there's something about it we don't understand, because I would never watch somebody, especially some of these games. It's just the same thing. You're walking into buildings shooting people. I'm going to watch you walk into buildings and
That's
shoot
another
people.
thing. My contention is like that Pac-Man is a real game.
Yeah.
That, to figure that game out must have been tough,
Yeah.
It all works. And then they went to these ones that you're saying,
Yeah.
where they're just kicking and punching.
Yeah.
You walk, kick, punch, use
Yeah.
karate. That's not a game.
Yeah. I mean, I remember trying to figure out how to make the Italian guy jump over the barrels.
Yeah.
Like that was, to me, that was a real strategy. Not get hit by a barrel. Like that's
And then,
a real life circumstance. A monkey is throwing barrels at me.
Oh, I was going to say the monkey. That's the same game. Yeah, it's King Kong.
Yeah, and he's throwing stuff
I know
at
he's
you.
throwing barrels.
And you're
Yeah.
trying to
And you're
get
mar-
up to save the princess. That's more like reality based.
But you're a, what are you,
You're I think a
custodian?
pizza maker. No, you're a plumber. He's a
Plumber,
plumber, right, Mario?
Yeah, he's just
he's
a
a plumber
plumber.
with his
Yeah.
brother Luigi.
Luigi, oh yeah.
Yeah, the two of
The
them.
everyman.
Hardworking everyman plumbers.
Yeah, which is what Japanese video game designers think of Italian. They're all plumbers named Mario and
that's
Luigi.
right.
Yeah,
Great facial hair.
yeah, amazing mustache. All right, well, let's go play
what
some
happened
poker.
today when we went down thinking we'd get a table together, and then
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
I said-
John,
I
told
said-
us, put us in our place.
I said, Norm, we're big famous comedians, especially you. I mean, you're a celebrity. You have your assistant here. He's a very smart guy. According to Phil Hellmuth, John's a really smart guy. So all we need to do is walk in, and everybody's going to want to play poker with us. So John's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then I watched John wander around aimlessly for 25 minutes, and he came back and said, I don't know what to do, but I'm hungry. So then he went to get lunch, and point being, I think your
And then
assistant
he
deserves
said-
a raise.
And then he said, "You guys think you're somebody,
Yeah.
but you got to remember these people.
They don't care.
They don't give a shit."
Yeah, they never heard of you, and they don't even care to meet you. So thanks for putting us back in our place, John. It's good. That's what a good assistant does. Keep you level-headed. Never let your ego get too big, right, Norm?
I'm here.
Yeah, thanks, John. Anyway,
It's
we're
like the dealer last night hitting you guys back in reality.
yeah.
What is your Sirius XM show then? But you said also this is the poker podcast.
Yeah.
So you have another show other than it's not the poker podcast. It's
Yeah.
a different show.
Yeah, so I'm on Sirius XM. They just do my stand-up on Sirius XM.
Oh,
and
I didn't even get a show.
No, I do the Tom Shalhoub show a lot on Fox News Radio.
Oh, really?
Which is fun.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I mean, he talks politics.
He's the guy that does Red Eye. You ever see Red Eye?
No.
It's on Fox. It's Fox News. I mean, it's a comedy.
Tom Shalhoub's a hilarious comedian, but he's very interested in politics, and he leans right. But then at the end of his show, he has comedians come on and like just kind of joke about what's going on in the news and stuff. Yeah.
That's what Dennis Miller was like. Like, he's
Yeah.
right, but when he gets comedians, he doesn't talk about politics.
You
He
do,
just
but
talks about- unless they're conservative.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't get into arguments with.
right.
But
It's not funny to
unless
watch
you're
too.
like if Janine Garofalo
Yeah.
on the show, then he'd argue with it.
Yeah.
But me, he just lets me do jokes. And, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? He doesn't.
It
force
never gets too heavy.
Right.
You know, he'll find the lighter stories. They might be
It's
politically.
funny with like Dennis Miller because people go like, "What happened to him? He used to be funny." I'm like, "Well, he's exactly as funny.
Yeah.
He just believes in something different." now."
Yeah, he's got a different political lean, so he
Yeah.
doesn't get the same
like he
love.
forgot how to become funny.
Yeah.
What are you crazy?
I mean, the worst thing that ever happened to him was Monday Night Football.
yeah, it was.
It
the worst.
wasn't a good fit.
Nope,
It
that
just
was a
didn't
big
feel right,
mistake.
and they couldn't make it work.
Yeah, it was a big mistake.
Yeah, well,
But
imagine
he's,
if,
like I've seen it. He does that stuff the same as his act, you know, with those perfect references. He just does those off the top of his head.
yeah,
And he tells you, he's like, "That's my one trick, babe." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
one trick bounty. Like he's very self-aware, but it's a great trick because he
Yeah.
picks these perfect references and then if you recognize them, you're happy. Like, because you go, I only knew that guy. Like,
and if you don't, you laugh anyway because
Yeah.
it's kind of like, what the hell is he talking
I
about?
know exactly.
Yeah, which is most of us. Yeah, Dennis Miller's another guy. He's like smarter than most of us.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely,
for sure.
definitely.
All right, well, let's go see if we can get some poker started.
Let's do it.
Thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, we
And
can
we-
talk later, and you can edit it.
Yeah, I can edit
You
it.
think
You
of
can
something
cut it out.
else
Well,
interesting?
if John does anything else ridiculous. So there you go, guys. A little behind-the-scenes action. And no, I did not edit it. That was the full conversation that I guess we touched on a number of topics there. Sorry we didn't get into any poker strategy with Norm Macdonald, but I just don't think you want to try to talk poker when you've got one of the greatest comedians ever hanging out with you and just being so funny. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that little behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to hang out with Norm while waiting for a poker game to start. We did get several $1,000 sit-and-goes off. One of them, if you check my Twitter, at Clayton Comic, you will see a photo of me with Norm, and Phil Hellmuth was also at our table, Chris Moneymaker, and, of course, Matt Stout, who was on our last episode as well. So really appreciate you guys listening and for supporting the podcast. Definitely give us a good review on iTunes or on Stitcher or on Podbean or wherever else you get your podcast content, and we'll keep this thing going week after week, bringing you the best content we possibly can. So for everyone here at Tournament Poker Edge, I want to thank you all for listening. I'm Clayton Fletcher, and we'll talk soon.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas, please. Fold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. Luck and intuition, play the cards with babes to start. And after she's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on her heart. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Carry mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Carry mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. I wanna roll with her, a hot pair we will be. While little gambling is fun when you're with me. I love it. Russian roulette is not the same without a gun. And baby, when it's love, it's not rough, it isn't fun. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. face. She's got to love nobody. Can't read my, can't